The Witch of Atlas by Percy Bysshe Shelley. To Mary, on her objecting to the following poem, upon the score of it containing no human interest. How, my dear Mary, are you critic bitten, for vipers kill though dead, by some review, that you condemn these verses I have written, because they tell no story false or true? What though no mice are caught by the young kitten, may it not leap and play as grown cats do, till its claws come? Prithee, for this one time content with thee with a visionary rhyme. What hand would crush the silken winged fly, the youngest of inconstant April's minions, because it cannot climb the purest sky, where the swan sings amid the sun's dominions? Not thine. Thou knowest 'tis its doom to die, when day shall hide within her twilight pinions the lucent eyes and the eternal life, serene as thine, which lent it life awhile. To thy fair feet a winged vision came, whose date should have been longer than a day, and o'er thy head did beat its wings for fame, and in thy sight its fading plumes display. The watery bow burned in the evening flame, but the shower fell, and the swift sun went his way, and that is dead. Oh, let me not believe that anything of mine is fit to live. Wordsworth informs us he was 19 years, considering and retouching Peter Bell, watering his laurels with the killing tears of slow dull care, so that their roots to hell might pierce, and their wide branches blot the spheres of heaven with dewy leaves and flowers. This well may be, for heaven and earth conspire to foil the over-busy gardener's blundering toil. My witch indeed is not so sweet a creature as Ruth or Lucy, whom his graceful praise clothes for our grandsons, but she matches Peter, though he took 19 years, and she 3 days in dressing. Light the vest of flowing metre she wears, he, proud as a dandy with his stays, has hung upon his wiry limbs a dress, like King Lear's looped and windowed raggedness. If you strip Peter, you will see a fellow, scorched by hell's hyper-equatorial climate, into a kind of sulphureous yellow, a lean mark, hardly fit to fling a rhyme at, in a shape of Scaramouche, in hue Othello. If you unveil my witch, no priest or primate can shrive you of that sin, if sin there be in love when it becomes idolatry. The Witch of Atlas. Before those cruel twins, whom at one birth incestuous change bore to her father Time, error and truth had hunted from the earth all those bright natures which adorned its prime, and left us nothing to believe in worth the pains of putting into learned rhyme. A lady witch there lived on Atlas mountain, within a cavern by a secret fountain. Her mother was one of the Atlantides. The all-beholding sun had ne'er beholden, in his wide voyage o'er the continents and seas, so fair a creature as she lay enfolden in the warm shadow of her loveliness. He kissed her with his beams, and made all golden the chamber of grey rock in which she lay. She in that dream of joy dissolved away. 'Tis said she first was changed into vapour, and then into a cloud, such clouds as flit like splendid winged moths that about a taper, round the red west when the sun dies in it, and then into a meteor, such as caper on hill-tops when the moon is in a fit, then into one of those mysterious stars which hide themselves between the earth and Mars. 10 times the mother of the months had bent a bow beside the folding star, and bidden with that bright sign the billows to indent the sea-deserted sand, like children chidden at her command that ever came and went, since in that cave the dewy splendour hidden took shape and motion, With the living form of this embodied power, the cave grew warm. A lovely lady garmented in light, from her own beauty, deep her eyes are, two openings of unfathomable night, seen through the temple's cloven roof, her hair dark, the dim brain whirls, dizzy with delight, picturing her form. Her soft smiles shone afar, and her low voice was heard like love, and drew all living things towards this wonder new. And first the spotted camel leopard came, and then the wise and fearless elephant, then the sly serpent, in the golden flame of his own volumes intervolved. All gaunt and sanguine beasts her gentle looks made tame. They drank before her at her sacred fount, and every beast of beating heart grew bold, such gentleness and power even to behold. The brinded lioness led forth her young, that she might teach them how they should forego their inborn thirst of death. The pard unstrung his sinews at her feet, and sought to know, with looks whose motions spake without a tongue, how he might be gentle as the doe. The magic circle of her voice and eyes all savage natures did in paradise. And old Silenus, shaking a green stick of lilies, and wood gods in a crew, came blithe as in the olive copses thick. Cicadae are drunk with the noonday dew, and Dryope and Faunus followed quick, teasing the god to sing them something new. Till in this cave they found the lady lone, sitting upon a seat of emerald stone. And universal Pan, 'tis said, was there, and though none saw him, through the adamant of the deep mountains, through the trackless air, and through those living spirits like a want, he passed out of his everlasting lair, where quick the heart of the great world doth pant, and felt that wondrous lady all alone, and she felt him upon her emerald throne. And every nymph of stream and spreading tree, and every shepherdess of ocean's flocks, who drives her white waves over the green sea, and ocean with the brine on his grey locks, and quaint Priapus with his company, all came, much wondering how the enwombed rocks could have brought forth so beautiful a birth. Her love subdued their wonder and their mirth. The herdsmen and the mountain maidens came, and the rude kings of pastoral Garamount. Their spirits shook within them, as a flame stirred by the air under a cavern gaunt. Pygmies and Polyphemes, by many a name, centaurs and satyrs, and such shapes as haunt wet clefts and lumps, neither live nor dead, dog-headed, bosom-eyed, and bird-footed. For she was beautiful, her beauty made the bright world dim, and everything beside seemed like the fleeting image of a shade. No thought of living spirit could abide, which to her looks had ever been betrayed. On any object in the world so wide, on any hope within the circling skies, but on her form and in her inmost eyes. Which then the lady knew, she took her spindle, and twined 3 threads of fleecy mist, and 3 long lines of light, such as the dawn may kindle, the clouds and waves and mountains with, she as many starbeams, ere their lamps could dwindle, in the belated moon wound skilfully, and these threads a subtle veil she wove, a shadow for the splendour of her love. The deep recesses of her odorous dwelling were stored with magic treasures, sounds of air, which had the power all spirits of compelling, folded in cells of crystal silence there, such as we hear in youth, and think the feeling will never die. Yet ere we are aware, the feeling and the sound are fled and gone, and the regret they leave remains alone. And there lay visions swift and sweet and quaint, each in its thin sheath, like a chrysalis. some eager to burst forth, some weak and faint with a soft burden of intensest bliss. It is their work to bear to many a saint whose heart adores the shrine, which holiest is, even loves, and others white, green, grey, and black, of all shapes, and each was at her beck. And odours in a kind of aviary of ever blooming Eden trees she kept, clipped in the floating net a love-sick fairy had woven from dew beams while the moon yet slept. As bats at the wired window of a dairy, they beat their vans, and each was an adept when loosed and missioned, making wings of winds to stir sweet thoughts or sad in destined minds. And liquors clear and sweet, whose healthful might could medicine the sick soul to a happy sleep, and change eternal death into a night of glorious dreams, or, if eyes needs must weep, could make their tears all wonder and delight. She in her crystal phials did closely keep. If men could drink of those clear phials, 'tis said the living were not envied of the dead.